All right.
Hello, this is Melvin, deep in Tempe, Arizona. I'm here at the Collective Block Party to invite everyone to be a part of this um, opportunity that we have for trying to discover and co-create a way forward. And I'm here with the founder of this Block Party, the awesome, inspiring um, Jamin. And I'm going to pass it to Jamin and let him tell you what the collective intelligence means to him.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melvin. Great to have you here, brother. So collective intelligence is exactly what you're seeing right here on the screen right now. A bunch of us meeting together from several different countries. I think we got 4 different countries represented at the moment. We've had over 20 different countries represented here on the Collective Intelligence Block Party. We put our minds and hearts and creativity together, and we see what we can come up with to solve the world's most daunting problems: hunger, planetary overheating, destruction of the biosphere, and the 6th mass extinction, the melting of the ice. You know the problems. We all know the problems. Well, it's time for solutions. And a lot of great solutions have been developed over the centuries, millennia, and many still remain. And we actually need a complete and total set of solutions if we're going to solve our problems in time. Exponential planetary overheating has put us on a really brutally short time clock, stopwatch, that's going tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and we've only got so much time to figure it out. So the urgency here is that we all come together as a planetary collective intelligence. So imagine that just like this Zoom room of, the 7 of us at the moment, imagine there's literally, millions of such rooms. Well, the cool thing is there already are, but we're not connected. We're not networked together. So we need an efficient, effective way to get us all connected together so that as a hyper-connected network of conversations and people, together we can self-organize into the right groups of people at the right time to solve the right problems. And, a lot more to say about it, but that's, let's stay high level for the moment. That's the big picture. That's the big idea. We need to come up with all the solutions that we need to solve our problems, and we need the right strategy in which to execute those solutions that will get everyone on board, right? And in the early stages of this, that's exactly what we need, is to get humanity together and on board with, drum roll, with whatever we're going to co-create together. And it's yeah, go ahead, Melvin. Yeah.
That's awesome, Jamie. Thank you for that, for giving us an overview on what collective intelligence is about. And I just like to add to that about collective intelligence. It's about us recognizing humanity, that we are interconnected to a planetary ecosystem, and that our well-being of humans is interdependent on the well-being of the environment and all the species that exist on our planet. I'd like to hear from Jackie on her thoughts about what collective intelligence means to her.
To me, collective intelligence is a spiritual awakening. To me, collective intelligence is when our inner wisdom recognizes and then remembers who we are as humanity, who we are as humans. And we go back to understanding our interconnectedness of nature and how responsible we are. And we use our ability to raise our own consciousness for the greater good of all. And we join once again as one humanity. We create one neural network. We create one source of information of all, so it's available to all. We share, we contribute. To me, that is collective intelligence, is when we gift to the whole, when we participate and exchange medicine to the whole that benefits all life. That to me is collective intelligence, and that's what Mother Nature has done. We've removed ourselves from the entire whole of collective intelligence available on the planet. Humanity needs to come together first as one collective intelligence, and that's how we will then become interrelated once again, and she will thrive once again.
Thank you, Jackie. I was listening to Jane Goodall speak on a YouTube I think it was Facebook, you wanted Facebook, and she really spoke to how our interconnectedness and interdependence on nature, and we most of us are familiar with the work of Jane Goodall in Africa with the chimpanzees and the great apes. And one of the things she said that really stood out to me, that resonated very strongly with me in regard to this COVID-19 virus. And what she said is that the animals do not create this. We are creating it because we are encroaching upon their space. And we're not recognizing how we are interdependent and interconnected to one another. I'd like to shift it over to James over in Ireland. Are you there with us, James? Are you there,
Yeah,
James?
I am, Melvin. Thanks very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for me, I suppose for me, the collective intelligence at first was the end result of my desperate search through a lot of information that's out there, overwhelming scientific information that's out there in the face of the desperate climate situation that we're all facing, and everything that implies. As much as that I knew about myself anyway, but I knew enough to know that we're in a desperate situation and that we're on a clock, a very short clock. And the collective intelligence came to my attention, as I said, through my incessant searching for like-minded people who are aware enough of the problems and are trying their best to do something about it. And I eventually came across the only people that I could figure out that were actually trying to get together to have conversation with the view of coming up with solutions to try and solve the problems, which is the only way to go. And therefore, for me, I found where I need to be. I figure that it's the place where we all need to be, and it's important now that we all get involved in these conversations. But more so, originally it was the emergency of this calamity that we're facing. But as Jackie mentioned as well earlier, I found also parts in the collective intelligence that I never expected, such as the spiritual aspect, such as the spiritual nourishment I come away from it, from the divine feminine, and from such as the knowledge I've increased my awareness about the consumption of animals and the animal marketing and everything else. My awareness has been so much more broadened by these conversations in the number of weeks that I've been on them alone. And for me, that is positive proof that these conversations are working, that they're enlightening me further, and that I can see that collectively, once more people who are, professional or otherwise, doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, just get involved in the conversation. The more people talking, the more solutions we can come up with. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I feel it's very, very important that we all should be here. So thanks, Milton.
Thank you. Collective intelligence speaks to the realities that we all have something to offer. We all have something to say. With collective intelligence, there's no big I's or no little U's. All ideas are valuable. And we come to here together to share our ideas in a spirit of trying to, in the spirit of making a contribution to the healthy evolution of all life, making a contribution to the healthy evolution of all life. One of the things I want to say about collective intelligence, and I pass it to back to Jamen again, is looking at it from collective intelligence from a whole systems perspective. Could you comment on that, Jamen?
Yeah. So if you think of our world as a whole, which is the only way to think of Mother Earth and all of her children, including us and all of our brother and sister species as a whole, and think of it as one giant being, well, it is natural that that giant being would have a giant brain, right? to help coordinate its myriad functions and make sure that it's well, right? If I don't have enough nourishment in my body sends signals to my brain that says, hey, feed me, right? So we need to have a sensory network that spans all people, all ecosystems, all species. So if any of our brother and sister species are in trouble, we can come to their assistance. And, you know, so it's really like the way I see it, it's a planetary brain, including a planetary nervous system, right? That's intentionally designed, right? Yes, collective intelligence has been emergent, especially from the internet, but even prior to the internet, right? You know, Gutenberg's printing press was a huge leap forward. In fact, for me, that was the single biggest leap forward of all, single biggest leap forward in terms of our collective intelligence. Cities are another form of collective intelligence. Jackie, you grew up in Manhattan. Manhattan is a case study in collective intelligence. How on earth does that little island generate so much of a portion of the country's economic activity, right? Well, here's why. Somebody on Madison Avenue who's working on some brilliant marketing campaign needs some specialty consulting from someone across town. Well, they're probably 3 or 4 blocks away. You can probably walk there, have your meeting. You're all juiced up. Now you need to go, you know, talk with some lawyer about some specialty angle. Well, your lawyer is also a few blocks away. Everybody's a few blocks away from each other in Manhattan. So it's one giant collective intelligence. So we need to take that Manhattan effect and spread it around the world. Get everyone connected, right? And it just goes on and on. I could talk for hours about it, but I think you wanted short answers, Melvin, brother, so I'm going to respect that and go on mute and just let others share about what it means to them, because it's really what it means to all of us. It's not, oh, because, you know, because I was there at the beginning doesn't mean that I've got any better insight than anyone else. So thank you, Melvin, brother.
Thank you for your humility and your awareness that others have something to contribute. And that's one of the things I like about this here platform of collective intelligence, is that there's a recognition that everybody has a voice. And let's honor and recognize the voice of everyone. And saying that, I'd like to hear from Stephanie. What's collective intelligence mean to you? Are you with us, Stephanie?
I'm here. Sorry, just get my mic together. Okay, so for me, it's a bit of a tough question to answer. I think the only phrase that comes to mind is, you know, when they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
And it's like, this is the village, but I suppose the child is all of our authentic selves, and we include everybody in that. Again, not just humans, but all species. And I'm here simply just because I care. I'm not sure what I can contribute other than conversation. And all I know is this is an inspiring group already. I have seen spin-off inspiring groups coming from this, making a huge difference. And the community we have here has led me and made me aware of even the animal agriculture and the effect that has on the climate, and besides the obvious cruelty in industrial agriculture. And I have since become vegan since joining this community, and it's just for me it's such an eye-opener, and I understand a lot more. So I would like to bring a lot more people to this platform so that they can understand a little bit more, because it's not that people are doing any wrong. We were born in this situation, but it's just bringing awareness. And again, the only little phrase again I can think of is it takes a village to raise a child. So I just feel like this is kind of like the village that we all need to be in to help us be aware of our authentic selves.
Thank you, Stephanie. I was reading a story once about, because I wanted to learn more about how life was in pre-Africa. I mean, in pre-Africa, in Africa before the Atlantic slave trade. And how was it that Africa was able to be penetrated, the villages, the communities there. And what happened is that in some of the communities, they had some practices and beliefs where some members were ostracized for whatever. And foreigners were able to reach those people who were ostracized. And when they were able to do that, they were able to get more and more on their side until they became a force. My point here is that here, no one is ostracized because everyone has something to offer. And as we're moving toward, you know, one thing this here, COVID have made, I think we should all, it has made more clear to me and perhaps to many, I know to many others, but to all, is how we are interconnected in this world, that a child over in Africa, what's happening to that child impacts us. And this COVID disease, this here global disease, has really brought home to how we're interconnected, and we shouldn't ostracize anyone. And that's one of the beauties about collective intelligence, that everybody is included, everybody has a voice. I think it was, I read a quote off of, from Climate Healers. I think it's by, I don't know the author of the quote, but it says, the idea that some lives matter less than others is at the root of all that is wrong with the world today. The idea that some lives matter less is at the root of all that is wrong with the world today. And here at Collective Intelligence, we're here to say that all lives matter. All life matters. And having said that, I want to pass it on to Emery over in Canada. If you're there with us, Emery, to hear your thoughts on collective intelligence.
Yes, this is Emery from Montreal, Canada. And I see collective intelligence as an opportunity to witness the most loving aspects of humanity, to, you know, help save life on this planet. And I'm witnessing that here through collective intelligence. Among saving life on the planet, I'm hopeful to witness the end of pandemics around the world and the misuse of weapons of mass death, you know, and we want to see the vision of a cool down planet that's going to enrich life for generations to come, for many generations to come, for many generations of all life on this planet to come. And I'm hopeful that we as a collective intelligence can come together and do this together, with our hearts open to the prospect that we will be successful and, you know, gift this to our future family of life on this world. So that's what it means to me, kind of in a nutshell. I pass it back to Jamen Shively, founder. You know, I respect him full-heartedly, and I invite everybody, anyone who hears this message, who watches this video, to come and join us. You know, bring your ideas, bring your hearts, and lay them lay them upon our souls here so that we can progress to a positive, fulfilling, joyous life. Pass it back.
I would like to thank you for sharing, and you really said something that resonated very strongly with me when you said the heart. And I think it's important for us to connect collective intelligence with the heart, with compassion. And thank you for bringing it. You really brought it down to earth, to heart, compassion. I'm also reminded of something that I read. I think I learned this from reading Shelley Alstoff's work, where she said that the bees' magnificent talent, ability to do what it do does not belong to the bee, it belongs to nature. And here at Collective Intelligence, we recognizing that our intelligence do not belong to us, it belongs to the world to make this whole world a better place. When you look at nature, there's no species or no animal or no plant that colonizes or try to be the most intelligent or the smartest. And it all works in a complementary way. And here at Collective Intelligence, we are of the understanding that our wisdom, our insights, our skills, whatever, don't belong to us. They belong to humanity to contribute to the healthy evolution of all life on the planet of Earth. With that, I want to pass it to Soul Forest. I know I'm messing up your name.
That's okay, Melvin. So it's fine.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm here because I couldn't actually have the conversation about near-term extinction with anyone because they didn't want to know. They didn't actually want to know. It wasn't, you know, their cup of tea. And so I found this. But I like the idea of collective intelligence because I think that we're all meant to be geniuses, but that we get closed down and cut off at quite a young age. And then we might have moments when we open up if we're in the right company with the right random things being said. So I believe in a whole load of random people coming together from different countries with different backgrounds, with different interests, and that by their thoughts and what they say, all these things colliding with each other, that we can all expand individually and then again as a group. So that's really where I'm coming from.
Thank you. You know what you said resonated very strongly with me, and it really hit a very tender part of my my existence, my spirituality. And you know, when you look at world history for the past, 5,000 years, 10,000 years or so, it's been a patriarchal world where men were in total domination and control. And one half of humanity was excluded, was totally oppressed, was dominated, was exploited, was abused. And that half of the humanity, the feminine, was suppressed. Just think what the world would be now if the feminine was allowed to thrive, to grow, to contribute. And it also reminds me of any forms of slavery, whether it's American slavery or slavery in the Middle East, slavery anywhere, any forms, whether it's wage slavery or chattel slavery, how we are denying, excluding, and suppressing the intelligence, the brilliance, the talent, the ambition, the desires of a whole segment of the population. And just think where humanity would be if the part of humanity that's been suppressed was alive to thrive, to express itself. What would the world be today were it not for the people who came to America looking for a new beginning? We have the internet, we have medicine, we have so much that was really the result of collective intelligence. So what we're here talking about has been radically inclusive. Whoever you are, you have something to offer. So we invite you to join us here at this here meet here with collective intelligence, so that we can co-create the way forward. Thank you very much.
May I add something?
Yes.
Collective intelligence is free will. Destiny is feeling that we're victims to life and victims to circumstances, and we're repeating cycles of unconsciousness. Free will is when we realize that we have the opportunity to be so humble and to be open to what we don't know, to be willing to learn what we don't know, and come together and make a choice and say, I will not be a victim to circumstance. We can come together as one family, and we can help one another, and we can not only survive this, we can thrive on the other side of this. So we can come together in humility, willing to have conversations, willing to receive information that we don't know, willing to synthesize from different backgrounds and different perspectives, to come together as one. This is the prism of light that's needed right now. We are this prism. This is the rainbow warriors coming together to shine the light of truth, agency, and healing onto this planet right now. And anyone that resonates with this message, please join us. Please listen to us. And if you resonate with this message and you've always felt that you know that you can do, that you are meant for something greater, this is the call that Mother Earth is asking us to respond to. Join us. We're here. We love you. We love the world. We love the animals. We love the earth. And we just want to create a better place for the children of the world.
Thank you, Sister Jackie. Anyone else like to have any other comments on collective intelligence?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. You know these little boxes that we're in these little cubes. Hello, everybody in the cube. Wouldn't it be great if we were little hexagonals, like a little hive, like a little beehive? If Zoom did hexagonals, it would be great. I'd love a little I'd like my little cell, you know, my hexagonal cell.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, we're going to pass it back to our founder, the creator of collective intelligence, Jamie.
I thought you were going to say Jackie. Listen, it takes a village, and don't call me creator of anything, because just like was just said about the bees, those capabilities that the bees have do not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Melvin.
Right. You know what? It has been.
You're going to have to mute your mic, Melvin.
Right. Collective intelligence did come about through a collaborative process. It does not belong to any one individual. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, as James mentioned, it's important that you mute your microphone when you're not talking, so we don't get the feedback. Thank you, James, for that. You know, I mean, that's the cool thing here. Like I said, you know, I happened to be here at the start, but, you know, whatever I brought to the table really belongs to the world. It belongs to nature, right? It's not mine. And, you know, that's part of what ticks me off when somebody like Jeff Bezos really feels entitled to own that much of the world's life-giving resources. because he was the product of incredibly supportive parents, right? And an incredibly supportive community where he grew up in Arizona, and a great high school and great teachers and great, you know, family. It takes a village, right? This belongs to nature. Whatever we produce belongs to nature, not to us as individuals. And, you know, building off of what was said earlier, and it's funny, it's like I'm starting to even just like lose memory of who said what, because it just doesn't matter. The important thing is that the collective intelligence said it, right? Which Harlem Globetrotter put it into the hoop? Who cares? Because it was the couple of moves before that that were just absolutely, you know, that made it happen. Think back to Pele and the Jenga style and how the Brazilians played. Melvin and I were talking about that earlier in the capoeira. Anyway, but it's what was said earlier about, you know, how we've all been, you know, suppressed in one way or another, right? And if you if you think about the world oversimplistically, that there are two kinds of people. There are those who are fundamentally okay with people oppressing other people, and people who are fundamentally not okay with that, right? We're not okay with that. People who are take those skills of oppression everywhere they go. And we've been in other meetings where those skills of oppression come out, and it just destroys the creativity, the feelings of love and compassion. You know, we all are experiencing this feeling of our hearts opening, because we're in a safe place. We know that we're loved and embraced for who we are, right? And we're totally getting that we all need to get through this together. So this is the seed, right? Folks in 4 different countries with very different backgrounds coming together and saying, let's do this. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning, right? Of the mission, not the mission to Mars, but the mission to Mother Earth reloaded, right? That's exactly the mission. We are reloading life on Earth, transforming life on Earth. As we were talking about earlier, save and transform. You first have to save before you can transform, right? But that's the mission, save and transform life on Earth. Wow. Now, just take a look here. We've got 15 block parties under our belt. That's 360 hours of block party, okay, under our belts. And then on top of that, we've got, you know, probably another 120 or so hours of Solution Club in the same period of time, and probably another, I don't know, 800 hours before that. Anyway, we've got well over 1,000 hours, and we're gonna be in deeper into the thousands of hours of experience. And it took all those hours to get to this point, right? Think of all the different, you know, trials and tribulations we've been through, right? The folks who've been on the meeting who do oppress other people, they're no longer here, right? But we kind of had to find the right, you know, we kind of had to figure out who we are as Humanity Reloaded, right? We are Humanity Reloaded, right? You know how like they talk about stages of evolution and all that, and, you know, like there was some group in Africa that first, you know, finally figured out, you know, language or whatever, right? And then that became poof, and then they were the first ones. And of course, then they had this huge advantage, right? And then they just spread and spread and spread. So we're like the initial cluster of Humanity Reloaded, right? And, you know, this is a really good taste, I think, of what the culture of the future is going to look like, because we started with this one safe place, truly safe and loving and empowering and co-creative, right? That's just such a joy to be a part of. We started with this one safe space, one room, one Zoom room, and we hung on, right? like me clinging to the side of a mountain. My dad used to take me rock climbing and classes and all that. So imagine here I am, this 13-year-old kid clinging to the side of the rock. We're just hanging on. But we hung on and we hung on and we hung on. And now I feel like we've made it to not the top, but a plateau. And now we can just, you know, lay on the top of this plateau and just chill for a while before we take on the next portion. But listen, when we take on the next portion, we're now going to have way more people and a whole bunch of our other brothers and sisters, right, who we've been missing, but we don't even know yet, right? Or we don't know yet in the physical form. We probably met them before we came here, and we all signed our contracts. And but now we're going to meet them in physical virtual form. How cool is that? So anyway, couldn't be more excited. And I think with that introductory video, since all of us spoke, right? You know, it's not like some of us spoke. All of us spoke. And I really want to thank everyone for speaking, right? And Melvin, thank you so much for leading. And Stephanie, thank you so much for being the Garrincha who passed the ball to Pele, right? I'm a big fan of Brazil, Brazilian soccer. Thank you. And thank you, James, for inviting Stephanie, you know, and on and on and on. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought everyone's contributions were amazing. And it shows us as a small group. I don't think we'll ever be this small again. So enjoy it while it lasts, right? We're like the Beatles backstage before going on stage. We're going to be on stage pretty soon, and the screaming is going to be almost deafening. So put some cotton in your ears. Oh my goodness. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel like we finally hit it, right? And who knows what combination of stuff had to happen in those 1,000+ hours to get here. 1,000+ hours of video conferencing to get here.
You know what, Jamin? We were just purging. We were making space. It's what we were doing. We had so many ideas, and each of us have come from a background where we didn't have communities that we could discuss this with. So a lot of that energy was spent internally going over this because we didn't have a community to share with. So I think we built up so many ideas and conclusions, and that once we got together, it took us a while to just kind of all of us contribute all of that and then make space within us so that we could all come together to find a solution. So I think that's what we were doing. We were kind of just decluttering and making room and making space and purging all of that excess energy that we built up all on our own. And then we made space for that we could integrate one another into this space and create solutions together. So I think it just happened divine and perfectly in this sacred space.
Yeah, totally, totally. You know, I sometimes tell stories about my time in Mexico, in rural Mexico, with my compadres and my ahijados. And one thing that's well known in rural Mexico, if you want two dogs to get together and have kids, it's really simple what you do, right? You don't have to get them drunk or play music or anything, hire mariachis or anything like that. You just tie them both to the same tree and give it time, right? And doggone it, it'll happen. It just happens. And so in our case, we've committed to coming here again and again and again. We keep showing up, and just like those, you know, dogs who are destined to be tied to the same tree, we hung together long enough that we finally figured out how to, you know, how to sing together and how to sing the same song, right? There's that Chinese expression, lao qing wu man chu. I'm just kidding, I don't speak Chinese. But there's that Chinese expression that goes, sleeping in the same bed dreaming different dreams. Who the heck would want that? Well, guess what? We got 8 billion of us. Humans, plus a gazillion trillion others. We're all sleeping in the same bed. And I'm thinking, gee, I bet if I chopped down all those trees, I could get so many board feet of lumber, and then I could run cattle on the land, get a beef operation going on here, right? That's a human being infected with an idea virus that says you can own, you can dominate, you can have dominion, do whatever you want. You're the man, you're the master, right? And look at how far we took that metaphor, right? So we've been downloaded with malware, with this idea virus that we can own, that we can dominate, that we can have dominion, and that we're not a part of nature, we're above nature, and we're almost wiped out because of it. And here, I'll give an example of collective intelligence. I forgot where I was going to go with that, so I'm just going to go on mute and let one of my brothers or sisters pick it up from there.
Well, I'll just expand a little bit on what you were saying there, and Jackie, in the sense that not only were those 1,000-odd hours spent on having the chance to individually express ourselves over time, but we all bonded as a family. I think we've already agreed on that. Like, we've become more than friends; we've become a family, and a family that is one united family with a united goal and purpose. Like, and so that is what is also striking to me as well about the collective intelligence block party, is that that is another unexpected gift that came out of it. So you know, there's far more to be gained from sitting down and having conversation. It's not just about working out solutions. It's about being included, involved, and you know, a feeling of inclusiveness is not just the only thing. It's also knowing that you're respected for whatever your views are. So those are very important values to come away from something like that.
Yeah, this cannot help but spread. This but rather than spread like, you know, like a meme or an idea or something like that, it feels to me like the way that this is going to spread is people need to come here and experience being with us, right? We're like just a wonderful, beautiful family that just works, right? We got our amazing matriarchs here, just making sure, you know, everything's super cool and everyone's loved and cared for. We got Grandpa there by the fire telling stories, right? With his deep voice that just melts you like vegan butter, right? And you've just got this amazing cast of characters, of people. And that's what a family is. Everyone is totally unique in that family, right? And so what we are is we are that, you know, that family we never knew we always wanted, and here it is, and we're safe here, and we're loved and supported, and it's warm by the fire. It's warm throughout the house. There's plenty to eat, plenty to go around, plenty of love, and it's just there's nothing missing. We're just happy as can be. We're singing, and outside it's a cold, stormy, windy, sleety, snowy night, right? And, you know, a young boy and a young girl are lost in the woods, and they're cold, they're hungry, they're tired, they're depleted. And wait, and they hear the laughter. And they come and they see the house through the trees, and they come and they knock on the door. Can we come in? Of course. What better place to land, right? Welcome home. Welcome home.